Grass over here. I see people just kind of milling about. Looks like they're just kind of in a daze right now. They're just kind of shocked by what they're seeing right now, and honestly, quite honestly, we are too, by this active shooter emergency right now that Metro Police and other agencies are responding to.
Joe, are you getting any sense of whether those people who you were just telling us about, whether they were inside the hotel, whether they were able to see the shooter, or can you even get anywhere near them?
I haven't been able to go across the street just yet, but I have seen them, some of them wearing cowboy hats, and of course this was a country music festival, so it looks like that these were probably concert goers. We've seen other folks that have their luggage. One gentleman had his luggage and his dog with him, so these are clearly people that are possibly tourists. These are visitors who are enjoying this strip and now caught here in this active shooter situation. They're trying to get away from this situation because you can't easily get away. There's really no way in terms of getting by on vehicle. You have to get back on foot south of the strip and then get picked up over there. But these people just kind of fleeing from Las Vegas Boulevard here just in front of the McCarran Field Executive Terminal, not knowing what they're going to do next, probably just trying to catch their breaths, trying to process what was going on, if they're in touch with their loved ones or someone like that. You know, they're on their cell phones right now, you know, probably trying to make phone calls, desperate phone calls, trying to get text messages through, trying to communicate people from not only around the country but around the world. Letting them know that yes, there is this situation, an active shooter situation, and I am safe. I am, you know, where I am. I'm by the McCarran Terminal, but I am safe. And if you're seeing this on the news right now, and of course, Las Vegas gets worldwide attention. So of course, this is going to be, you know, mentioned and spoken about really around the world right now, breaking right now in our own backyard, this active shooter situation. And unfortunately, we are hearing from people who are inside, who are nearby what's going on, telling us that there are multiple people shot, there are multiple people dead, and right now the situation is very dynamic. It is still not at any conclusion. It is still active right now. So if you have any reason to be anywhere, or if you can avoid this area, please do so while police work on the situation.
Okay, Joe, I understand we have more crews heading there. We've got the chopper heading out there. And Joe, let me just give the folks a recap of what's happening. Reports of gunfire down on the Strip. It's shutting down parts of the Strip near Mandalay Bay. Of course, Joe Bartels has been out there on the scene doing fantastic work. We have our chopper coming up. Do we have that chopper video just yet? Anything from the chopper yet? No, we don't. Okay. But we have video of the scene right now. You can see through those trees, police cars out there. From what Joe was telling us before, there have to be more than 100 police cars out there from Las Vegas Police, from Henderson Police, probably from other police departments. We have what we know right now, or what we have reports of right now, is that there's been a shooting. Several people have been shot. We don't have any sense yet of how many people have been shot. I'm being told right now we have a witness, an eyewitness who was on the phone named Joseph. Joe, what can you tell us?
Yeah, I was at the Tropicana Hotel staging in my taxi. I seen a lot of people running in the opposite direction of the Harvest Festival. They had a worried look on their faces. I tried to stop anyone, find out what was going on. Somebody finally stopped. They told me machine gun fire. I started walking in the direction of the Harvest Festival through the valet. I had to stop because I could smell the smoke. Whether it was gunfire or something else, I don't know, but that I did recognize the smoke as a gunfire. It was a rapid machine gun sound. Brrr. It wasn't the old style machine gun out of World War II.
Joe, this must have been a terrifying situation. What was going through your mind as you're hearing that rapid staccato repeat of what sounds like may have been machine gun fire and seeing all these people around you scattering? What was going through your mind as all this was going down?
Evacuate anybody I can get a hold of. I was able to get 2 people into my cab. I tried to get more people into my cab. I was unable to. They were zoned out. I mean, it was as though they had one thing on their mind, to get away from the area as far as possible. But, you know, I have been told by law enforcement that this would happen. That it was a matter of when a situation like this would happen. So I had planned ahead of time to evacuate as many people as I could, and I was able to help out two passengers in my cab.
Joe, I want to keep you there right now. Don't go away. I just want to mention to folks we are on Facebook Live for those of you who want to interact with us on Facebook Live. But, Joe, this must have been a terrifying situation. You come in from out of town into Las Vegas to enjoy, to have fun, to relax, and then this horrifying, terrifying situation happens. Tell us, Joe, how scary, how terrifying was all this?
Oh, it was, maximum terror is to the max. It was to the max. As soon as, I'm half deaf, and I could hear this machine gun fire, and I thought, here we go. Here we go. A lot of people are going to get hit, and a lot of people are going to die, in which I have already seen a video of. It's unfortunate. It really is. But it's survival mode out there. Survival instincts kick in. But I did not have time to be afraid. I had time to evacuate people in my cab, and that's what I do for a living.
So, Joe, you were in your cab when this was happening?
Yes, I was staging at the Tropicana Hotel.
Joe, this must have been, I can't imagine what you must be going through, but you say that you're half deaf or that you have a hearing impairment, and that even with that hearing impairment, you could hear all this noise and all this commotion. Joe, stay safe out there. Are you in a safe place, Joe? Joe, you still there?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay. You stay safe, okay? Stay in contact with us, all right? Let us know what's going on. We may come back to you. We probably will come back to you. I'm being told now that we have some live video, some crowds on there in the Strip. Can we see that? Can we call that up? Okay. But right now, here's okay. This is the video right now down on the Strip. You can see there are people, there are crowds, there are throngs of people. I think I see some people laying down. It sounds like there are gunshots out there. This is absolutely incredible. Some people are still crouching down, some standing up. And from what I understand, this is live video, or is this from earlier? Okay, this is from earlier. Okay, this is not live video. This is from earlier. This is video of people during the actual, what we believe were gunshots, and what police say was gunfire. You could hear earlier on some of those gunshots firing off in rapid succession, and of course, listen to it right now. It sounds. It sounds like fireworks, but if you've ever been around guns, it also sounds like the rapid fire of semi-automatic weapons. We want to keep that volume down a little bit there because we're not sure about what's being said out there. But you can see people scrambling, people climbing over those barricades, running for their dear lives, running for safety. This is just absolutely awful out here. There are people who are just scattering everywhere, trying to make sure they're safe, trying to keep out of harm's way. And now, Danny, back in the control room, do we have video of that chopper yet? We don't have video of the chopper yet. Okay, let's stay with this video right now because it is just so compelling. Like I was saying earlier in the year, we had that active shooting situation down on the Strip. It happened during the daytime. This, of course, happening at night when there are a lot more people out there, when there are people out enjoying their evening, even though this is a Sunday night. This is, of course, Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, the city that never sleeps. I understand that Joe, our reporter, Joe Bartels, is out there still. Okay, we're not going to go back to Joe. Can we get another picture up of what's happening out there? Can we see what... So the traffic cam there. Okay, this is a live look at the traffic cam. This is the 15 near Flamingo heading north. You can see it is almost desolate out there. There are no cars. Is that the northbound side or is that the southbound side we're looking at? Well, at any rate, we can see very few cars out there heading north. Police are shutting down certain roads in the areas. We understand from what we heard from our news director, Mike Delastrito, earlier that part of the roadway where he is was like a parking lot. And this, of course, is around 11:20 at night. Of course, he came to us earlier, but still, you don't expect the highway to be, or the roadways to be like a parking lot. We understand that a good section of the Las Vegas Strip is shut down. I want to recap what's happening out there. There are reports of gunfire on the Strip. We heard the sound of rapid fire, what sounded like rapid fire semi-automatic weapons being fired. It's shutting down part of the Strip near Mandalay Bay. We have crews on the scene right now. We have crews heading out to the scene. We have Chopper 13 about to head to the scene. You're watching video from earlier of people scattering, people running away, trying to save their lives after they hear the gunshot. They have no idea where those shots are being fired, who is firing them, or why. They don't know what is happening, what is going on. I want to go back to, if we can, that video of the people crouching down, just because it is so compelling. Can we see that video again? Okay, here's that video again. Okay, you see people crouching down after they hear gunshots. They are looking to see what's going on. You can hear the gunshots in the background. They are looking to see what's going on. There are people who are just terrified, out of their wits, out of their minds, trying to figure out just what in the world is going on out there. Who is doing this? Why are they doing this? What is happening? We know that Las Vegas has been preparing for massive events like this, massive violent events like this. Take a look. There were people climbing over those barricades trying to run for their lives. And you can see right now, is this live or is this recorded video? This is recorded video. This is recorded video of police out there on the Strip, out there on the scene. You can see lots of police cars, lots of police walking to and from the area around Mandalay Bay. Again, reports of gunshots near the Mandalay Bay on the Strip. We have a witness now, we're told. We have a witness on the phone, and her name is Lauren, I understand?
Lawrence.
Lawrence. His name is Lawrence. Lawrence, tell us, what did you see? What did you hear?
So we ended up leaving like 5 minutes before the gunfire went. We were walking down Las Vegas Boulevard going south. We heard a pop. It sounded like just a firework, something that you think normally happens in Vegas. And then it just started going pop, 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 pop. We were sitting over by 8 Motel waiting for an Uber, and it just kept going, and it was nonstop.
Okay, Lawrence, we're also hearing reports that police are moving, or that people who are inside the Mandalay Bay are being moved down to the basement right now. Lawrence, where are you right now?
We actually were able to get out of there before they shut everything down. There were hundreds of cops coming down, lights blaring, AMR, Medic West, all of them were coming to the scene.
And Lawrence, as you're watching all this, as you're watching the people around you, I assume you're seeing the people running, scrambling for their lives. What in the world is going through your mind?
I am just so happy that my wife and I were able to avoid something like this. It's one of those things that's surreal. You don't realize what's going on and how life-changing it can be just in that moment. So I'm just thankful for all of our friends getting out, and hopeful for anyone that got hurt that they have a good, quick recovery.
So, Lawrence, you head down to the Strip, you hope for a fun night out, and then this happens. This must have been absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it was one of those things that just, it even took a while for us to understand what was happening. You're walking down the Strip, you're hearing it go off. There's a second, they're reloading, it goes off again. You know, it's not something that just really clicks in your mind that happens in the middle of Vegas.
Lawrence, did you have any idea that those were gunshots that you were hearing? I think you were telling us before that you thought that this may have been sort of a norm, but did you have any idea at the time if those were gunshots?
It took a while. It took a really good while that, you know, it sounded like firecrackers. It sounded like, just a bunch of firecrackers going out, which is not a unusual thing here in Vegas. And it wasn't until it just kept coming and we were passing people in the street questioning, isn't that gunfire, that we just finally realized it. And basically at that point, everyone along the Strip in front of Mandalay Bay just got behind something and just watched the cops roll into action.
So, Lawrence, I assume that you got behind something. I assume that you were safe and are in a safe place now?
yeah, we're safe now, and just hopeful for everyone else that is still in that situation.
Lawrence, just one other question I have for you. What do those gunshots sound like? I mean, you know, you hear these type of rapid-fire gunshots in movies, and you're like, you think that may not sound realistic, but what do those gunshots sound like to you?
Just pops, just little pops, just like a firework would go off. And it was the context of where we were at. If we were, you know, somewhere in the middle of a war zone or something, I'm sure it would have clicked quicker. But sitting outside of Mandalay Bay, it just sounded like people were setting off fireworks.
And did you see people running around, people scrambling, people scattering?
There were a lot of people running around. There were a lot of people that didn't realize what was going on. But I think it's once all of the police officers showing up, that's what kind of got people back into reality of what was happening.
All right, Lawrence Bernard, thank you so much. One of the witnesses of an active shooter down at Mandalay Bay, he said he was so happy he and his wife were able to avoid it, and we are too. We are sad to report, though, if you are just tuning in this evening, that there are reports of an active shooter down in the Mandalay Bay area. Clark County tweeting out that the shooting happened at the end of a performance by Jason Aldean at the Route 91 Harvest Festival, and we're just getting reports that flights will be affected in and out of McCarran Airport. As they're warning people, something's happening on the south end of the Strip, and you're looking at pictures of a massive police presence, which Chris has been watching unfold all night.
And Beth, when you were driving in here, were you stuck in any of this traffic at all? Did you see anything when you were coming in?
I avoided it and took surface streets, so I went through the heart of the city because I knew that the freeway and that end of the Strip would be blocked. Now we have reporter David Schumann, who is live at UMC, as we have our crews scattered all over. Oh, it's just video from UMC. So let's take a look at the video from David Schumann. All right, there we see it. So what you're looking at here is just a huge police presence. UMC, of course, the trauma center in our city, and so that is the first place that victims would be taken. And we're getting reports of approximately 10 victims at Mandalay Bay as someone opened fire down on the Las Vegas Strip tonight.
And Beth, we're also getting reports that the 15 is shut down from Tropicana to Russell. And I also want to remind people that this at least reminds me of that active shooting situation that we had on a weekend during the daytime back earlier in the year, where there was a man who was on or who was near a bus there. This is very reminiscent of that. This one, of course, right now is at night. We don't have that many details on this as far as who or what happened or why this happened. What we do know is that we do now have some video of the chopper. Okay. All right, I'm being told we'll have that video of the chopper pretty soon. Okay, but what we do know is that the shooting happened near Mandalay Bay. Several people were shot. There were people who were scrambling, running for their lives, trying to get to safety, trying to get away from the scene. Let's go back to that video, if we can, of the people who were crouching down behind those barricades, trying to stay safe. If we can bring up that video. Can we? Yeah, look at that right now. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see that yet, Beth, but wow, it was just so terrifying seeing people crouching down behind the barricades. You can actually hear what sound like gunshots, in the background of that video. And then after this, after people get up and they see what's happening, or they get an idea of what's happening, they start running, okay? Take a look at this. People jumping over barricades, trying to get away from this, running for their lives, trying to get to safety, not having any idea of what is going on. And this is just an absolutely terrifying, desperate situation. Part of the Strip still locked down. We understand that people who were in Mandalay Bay were being taken down to the base buildings. Some of the people who were in the area, I guess, in the around the lobby, I'm going to guess, were taken down to the base, but they try to keep them out of harm's way. Again, we don't know who is responsible for this or why this is happening. What we do know is this is an active situation, an active shooter situation. It is very dangerous. People's lives are at risk. So avoid that area at all costs.
Yeah, great advice there, Chris. Listen, everyone, stay right here with Channel 13 all night long. We're going to be bringing you live coverage. We have reporters scattered up and down the Strip, reporters at UMC, reporters at nearby churches. We also have Chopper 13 en route. Chopper's not there yet. We just got it up off the ground as all of our team got this late night emergency call to come in and get to work for you. And it's our privilege, but we do it with a heavy heart tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we get reports of an active shooter down on the Strip.
We're not in the basement anymore. They've let us out into the casino, but not out of the actual building. It's on lockdown. We can't get out and nobody can get in. But basically what happened, we was playing the machines, we was having a good time, and then there was a load of people started running. We thought they was having like a Congo dance, but then everybody just scattered everywhere and telling us to run, get to exits. Somebody doing good shots. So me and my cousin are just going down these stairs into the kitchen area, the basement area. And then we were just all held up there thinking, everybody's wondering what's going on. There's confusion on the faces and what have you. And then we got escorted upstairs onto another level, which was offices of the management of Caesar's Palace. And was about 100 of us in there waiting. And then until they let us back into the casino. But we can't get out. And there's only a few people. There's not a lot of people here like there normally is. It's just a handful of people now. Just milling about, wondering what's happening.
So at the moment, as far as your hotel's concerned, it is in lockdown, nobody can get in or out?
No, not the casino, yeah, that's where we are. My hotel is actually Treasure Island. I'm not in this hotel.
Right.
So we just come here for a night out and basically got caught up in it.
Tony, how far away is the casino where you are from the Mandalay Bay?
It's around a mile down the road, if that.
And when did you realise how serious the situation was?
You don't really. You just see panic, and I just went with the flow, and my cousin was in front of me because he was at the bar in front of me, and I seen him and he shouted me, and then everybody just started running downstairs, and that's when the panic set in, and I thought, well, it must have something to do with what we'd seen about the shooting at the concert or around the concert area, and that's when all that panic in them set in, and it was just confusion with us. Because we didn't hear any shooting. Somebody said they heard the shooting, which they were further down in the casino, and we just legged it with them because we had to. We just went with them.
What are you being told now?
We've just been told we've got to stay. We can go down to the casino, which is where we are. We can stay in the casino in the grounds, and the doors are shut tight. We're locked in, basically.
Do you feel safe?
Well, yeah, they've got security guards. The security guards over here, I don't know whether you know, but they have sidearms anyway, so I feel perfectly safe. I'm not panicking.
And Tony, this was just a normal night out in Vegas. It was.
Well, I say a normal night out. It's not a normal night out for me because I've never been here. So it was just it was a couple of days, and I just wanted to enjoy myself, and got caught up in this with my cousin.
As far as the rest of the day is concerned, you don't know. I mean, it's late at night there, but you don't know any details about the police operation going on very, very close to where you are.
No, but what we've seen from the TV cameras is that obviously I think the people have been moved off the streets. There's one or two cars that are all the casinos are on lockdown apparently. There's one or two cars that we can see on the TV screens knocking about, but all the streets have been cleared from what we can see.
Now, let's hear some of the sound from this man I interviewed, Mike.
We were just at the concert there, and Jason Aldean was playing, and kind of sounded like some fireworks going off, and then I think there was like the first kind of volley, and then all of a sudden the second volley, my buddy's like, I just got hit, and got hit 3 times, and then people started diving for the ground, and then it just continued, and it was pretty much chaotic. Lots of people got hit, lots of people were getting... It took a while to get him out. We had to get him over the fence and hiding under the stage for a while, to be safe. And finally we had to move him because he had 3 chest wounds. And got him out here. We got 4 people in the back of a truck, but then we got turned around because there was an active shooter. So we couldn't go down the street. So we finally got an ambulance right here on this right across the street here. And got 2 of the guys in, and basically the one guy ended up dying in my arms because he was bleeding. Then my buddy got in there. We got 3 more people in the ambulance, and so but I just got a message my buddy is going to be okay. So I mean,
the guy who got hit 3 times is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps a small silver lining tonight, and right now in the background you may be able to hear ambulances and fire engines moving towards the scene. This is still very much an active scene right now. You can see the police checkpoint behind me. People are congregating around here, trying to figure out what went on. Also, they're being blocked from going towards the Strip. That's where their hotels are. There's another fire and rescue ambulance going towards the scene. This is probably going to be happening through the night. And what you heard from Mike is also how chaotic the scene was. It took a while to evacuate the wounded because that gunfire seemed to be going on for a significant period of time, certainly long enough to pin police down and to make them fear that there may be multiple shooters. Also, many of the officers out here, not all of them have ARs. Many of them just have semi-automatic pistols, and you can't go up against someone who's armed with an automatic rifle or an assault rifle when you have a pistol. So the police weren't really, it seems, capable of moving in that quickly to take this person down, but I imagine the tactical teams did move in quickly enough. We do have it confirmed right now that a shooter is down. Again, we don't know how many shooters there were, but we know at least one of the shooters from tonight's attack appears to be down. That according to the Las Vegas Police Department. So hopefully this event is over right now, but clearly the cleanup and the investigation is going to last for many hours, possibly days. Hopefully there aren't any more wounded who've been scattered about or taken to other locations to try to seek shelter and now need immediate medical assistance. Hopefully all of those people have been picked up and evacuated to the hospital.
Aconteceu aí, viu? Quem tiver notícia, por favor dizer. Foi muito tiro. Na frente, olha. Será que isso é tiro? E o carro de polícia indo a 1000 por hora. Alguma coisa está acontecendo. Puta que o pariu. Puta que o pariu.
If you don't mind, and we're going to get to 13 Action News crime and safety expert Randy Sutton here in just a moment. But for the time being, we just got an interview in from one of the witnesses, so we'll go ahead and roll that. Mike, we'll be back with you in a second.
You were inside.
I was inside. We refused to believe it was a shooting until it just kept going and going. And then Chase and Aldine left the stage, and then everybody started fleeing, and we started fleeing. We had to hop a gate to get out. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
And you heard it?
Yeah, I heard it. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And it kept going. Even after we left, it just kept going and going. It was insane.
That must have been terrifying.
Yeah.
And so you know somebody. You were with a friend.
My friend was hit. We didn't believe it at first. I felt her whole body. And I didn't feel any wound whatsoever. And then we got to where we were going, and then we double-checked her again because she kept complaining. And we found a shoulder wound on her right shoulder. It was terrible.
How did she get here?
We were camped in front of the hotel, and then somebody put her in her car, and then we got on Tropicana, and we saw an ambulance, and I got out of the car, and I talked to them, and they threw her in the ambulance. That's how we got here.
You never saw any weapons, though? You just
No. From what I've heard, the shooting was actually at Mandalay Bay. I don't know if that's true, but I heard it was from the 30th floor on somewhere in Mandalay Bay. Apparently there was no weapon actually in the venue, from what I've been told.
So it was from your friend was hit. Did you see anyone else?
No, I didn't see anybody. Well, I've seen plenty of people that have been hit at the hotel. Here at the hospital, but yeah, I didn't see anybody else hit in the venue.
How many people are in there?
There was probably at least 70,000 plus in the venue. I'm not 100%.
Well, no, in the hospital, I mean.
There's a lot of people in the hospital. I have no idea.
So there was just like people being picked off from above. That's what you're.
From what I've told, yeah. From what I've been told, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, what was your name?
I'm Joseph.
What that man Joseph said, he was inside the concert. The way I met Joseph is he came out of the hospital. He was checking on his friend who was shot in the shoulder, and he had another friend here in the parking lot where we are outside the emergency room, and he just collapsed into her arms. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. They started crying. This is such a scary thing. I've been at the hospital outside the emergency room now for about half an hour, and you can see this is all taped off. There were much more lights here before. North Las Vegas police have showed up. You can see the officers walking with
big rifles, helmets, several groups, dozens of officers really getting briefed as to the situation. And of course, this is unfolding for all of us. The department doesn't, they're trying to figure this out along with us. That's why we talk to people like Joseph to find out the facts of what happened inside the concert during the event. This is obviously a very developing story. We're going to be staying out here at the emergency room. We're expecting more ambulances to show up, so we will keep you posted.
It was ringing off the top of the stage. You could hear it hitting trailers, people scattering, and it was chaos. I've never and don't ever want to ever be a part of anything like this ever again.
Yeah, of course. And so what happened? Were you playing on stage with Jason, and how long did it take to figure out what was unfolding?
I was standing there, I had just come off stage before Jason's set, and I was back out there like we always do. We're all friends out here, and I was out there watching the show and wanted to support him. All of a sudden, you just heard a couple individual what sounded, where you would ask yourself, that sounded kind of like a gunshot, And then next thing you know, it was just unloading on, like, no doubt, an automatic sounding rifle or some sort of machine gun or something. And at that point is when you could tell the chaos and the fear in everyone's eyes, and their demeanor was changed, and everyone just started scrambling for any sort of cover. But the way it's set up and the way that you can see where the guy was in Mandalay, it's like shooting fish in a barrel from where he was. I hate to say that, use that sort of term, but I feel so bad for these people, and we're all lucky. We were just talking about this. My crew, everyone else's crew backstage, we're so lucky that none of us were in the line of fire, because there's so many innocent people that were there to have a great time, and that's what we're here to do for them, and they've lost their lives. This is not an exaggeration. This shooting was going on for at least 10 minutes. It was nonstop. And by the time I got back to the bus after hopping a few fences, we were all laying down in the middle of the bus, and the gunfire was continuing outside. So this is something that was an ongoing situation.
Now our suspect was identified as Stephen Craig Paddock, 64 years old, a white male from Mesquite, Nevada. We have no investigative information or background associated with this individual that is derogatory. The only thing we can tell is he received a citation several years ago, and that citation was handled as a matter of normal practice in the court system. We believe the individual killed himself prior to our entry.
How many weapons was he found with?
We are still going through the search warrant actively at this time, but it's in excess of 10 rifles.
What's the status of Mary Lou Danley?
I'm sorry?
The woman?
We have located her out of the country. She was not with him when he checked in. We have discovered he was utilizing some of her identification, and we've had conversation with her, and we believed her at this time not to be involved. But obviously that will be, that investigation will continue. Obviously this is a tragic incident, and one that we've never experienced in this valley. So what we're going to try to do is the best we can to get our first responders back on their feet and responding and conducting a proper investigation and ensure that we have the safety of this community at heart. My condolences go out to the loved ones that lost their lives and their families, and we will do the best we can to make it as easy as possible for you to get information as we know it. I think it's important for you to see the FBI, County Fire, and Commissioner Sislak behind me. It shows that we have full support of all the government entities to solve this situation as soon as possible.
NBC's Tom Costello with new information as well. Tom?
Just a couple of tidbits here that are interesting. First of all, we know that the suspect, Stephen Haddock, had a pilot's license and owned 2 planes. The last time that he actually filed for a pilot's license was back in 2010. He also had a hunting license from Alaska. No surprise, many people have hunting licenses across the country. We don't know his motivation. We don't know whether it was political, religious, or a grudge of some sort. We simply don't know. Mika, we should make the point that, of course, we have seen the Internet is replete replete with reports of what his motivations may have been, with alleged photographs of him. We at NBC News don't report rumors. We report what we can verify and what we know is to be true. So we continue to work all of our sources, but there's a difference between fake news and real news. We work it as a real news story, and we work our legitimate sources, and we try to make sure everything is nailed down before we confirm anything. We talked about how many mass shootings there have been in the past. This is now, of course, the worst mass casualty shooting event in history. It replaces the Pulse nightclub shooting last year, in which 49 people were killed. Before that, it was Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia, back in 2007, 32 dead. And before that, Sandy Hook, coming in line, Sandy Hook Elementary with 27 dead, Luby's Cafeteria. I mean, the list goes on. But this death claim, or this death total, we should say, is expected to rise throughout the day. One other point I would make, and that is that this is, according to the experts, really the classic definition of what a soft target is. And it could be anything from a shopping mall to a cafeteria to a theater in Aurora, Colorado. It's anywhere where you can take easy aim at large numbers of people. And the thing about Las Vegas was that these people were kind of hemmed in watching this concert. In other words, there were walls around them. They couldn't easily leave. There were very few points of entry or egress. And so the shooter on the 32nd floor had a wide view, if you will, of his shooting target. This group of looked to be mostly 20 and 30-somethings who had gathered for this country music festival, the Route 91 Harvest Festival there on the Vegas Strip. Many people, as you've seen, dodging and ducking for cover. The people on stage had cover. They were able to quickly get out of the line of fire. But it's those people who are out on the ground just enjoying the day or the evening who were very much targets in this awful mass murder in American, now the worst in American history.
I need to take a video. No, you're good.
And you can hear it there, sustained automatic gunfire at the concert. People were running for cover or crouching down to try to avoid being hit. Some eyewitnesses are saying the shooting came from an upper floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. This is not confirmed at the moment. Now, the incident took place around 10:30 p.m. and per local time. Parts of the area were shut down. Armed police arrived at the scene of the attack. It was at the Route 91 Harvest Festival, taking place just across the strip from the Mandalay Bay Hotel Casino. People have been sheltering in hotels, restaurants and at Las Vegas McCarran International Airport. It says that flights in and out are temporarily suspended from that airport. This is what some eyewitnesses say and what they heard.
No, we just heard machine guns, and one of the security guards asked us to stop. They kept shooting and shooting and shooting, and we thought it was on the other side. We just thought it was maybe play machine guns, but it definitely wasn't, or fire guns.
Security guard.
And it sounded like at least 30 rounds or more, and then there was
a lot of single gunshots too.
Could you see the gunshots coming from the window?
No, we could definitely hear them though, and you could tell it was right here by Mandalay Bay, either in the front or toward the back, headed toward this way.
Okay.
We saw first officers about 8 running into the lift bay at 31 lift bay. They were going up, they were coming down, they were going this way, that way. We were told to get out, we were told to get in. One shooter's up there still, we were told by police, shooting out, and one's roaming around, and we've been told to come here, and we think we're safe here because there's so many police.
Did you see the shooters at all?
No one saw it. But
did you hear anything?
Yeah, a lot of people heard gunshots. But the initial gunshots were apparently like machine gun fire.
We have some new footage just into CNN of this in the moments after it took place. Let's play it right now.
It's very graphic, we should warn you.
Take it down right there.
Oh my God.
Hey, right now, we need your truck. We just need to get people over to the hospital, okay?
Okay, go ahead. Put them all in the back.
Okay. Can you pull over towards the side over there? You know what? This person right here. Hold up. Can we get this person in here?
Oh my God. Baby, this is horrible. Oh my God.
Yeah, hold on. Try it now.
Oh my God.
I can tell you what I see here. First of all, it's horrific, the aftermath of a horrifying event, more than 50 people killed, more than 200 injured. But what we also see here is an enormous outpouring of heart and bravery in people helping each other, trying to get them to safety.
There's people laying where?
Security guards asked us to just stop, but they kept shooting and shooting and shooting, and we thought it was on the other side. We just thought it was maybe play machine guns, but it definitely wasn't, or fire guns.
Security guard.
And it sounded like at least 30 rounds or more.
Go this way, guys. Guys, everybody leave this parking lot.
I definitely could, yeah.